We're here in York, Maine for a really interesting local legend. The cemetery that we're at is known as the Old Burying Yard. It's some of the first graves of the latter half of the 17th century that were used for the old town of York. There's Old York, and also called York Village, and also Greater York itself. And so this is a small cemetery off of Route 1, which is famous for two reasons. One has to do with the time period of the King Philip's War, and the other one is a local legend, witch legend. So we'll just gonna kind of jump over the wall here. It's a relatively small cemetery, just nestled across a pair of historical buildings. The stones are absolutely beautiful. They range from the weeping urn, as you can see right here. See if you see my shadow here, unfortunately. It's in the way, to the death's head, which is one of my favorites. That stone looks like it dates 1689. So, in terms of the war against the Native Americans, it was in 1691, 1692, there was an attack by Indian settlement to the north of York. Basically burned the town down, captured 300 townspeople. 40 were killed, the rest were marched to Canada, where the Indians lived. Indians typically killed the males and took the women and children with them. And many of those died along the way. It was a really terrible massacre, and this is but it is an old enough cemetery here that you can see a wide range of different types of cemetery stones here. Again, here's the flying head. This dates the deaths 1765 here. We have the sun problem here, which I'm going to try to eliminate. Beautiful. Look at that flying head. Sorry, I have a mosquito. 1760 is the date on this stone right here. And a number of them are falling to the side here. Samuel Moody. It's an absolutely beautiful stone here. I'm going to take a picture of it. The urn. Zoom back a little bit. Look to the witch's legend here in a second. And there's Elizabeth. So the local witch's legend is rather bizarre kind of legend. And here's Reverend Samuel Moody, born 1765. He died 1747 here. Another really beautiful stone. He's got the flying angel, or his wife has the flying death skull next to it. There's his one. Sorry, that crash was the umbrella next to me. Okay, so what this cemetery is famous for is the little local legend of a witch. And it was a witch legend that was garnered after the individual had died. The woman in question was never considered a witch when she was alive. It was only after her death that this occurred. And the reason is the tombstone that she had. And I'm going to put up the umbrella here. See if we can get out some of the zero in on it. See that headstone right here? Right there is the top part. Now this headpiece here is what really freaked a lot of people out. And the woman's name was Mary Nasson. And her husband, Samuel, erected this tombstone when she died on August 18th, 1774 here. You can see it, August 28th, 1774. I'm seeing August 28th, 1774. That differs from the source I have here. And it was because of that many people thought that this was a symbol that, she was in life involved in some bizarre activities. Much later, you can see that her tomb is, so her resting place is actually quite bizarre in the sense it has this extended piece back here. This was known as a wolf stone. Essentially what it was a stone that was placed over the grave so that animals couldn't get to it. Specifically wolves, but cattle, cows, pigs, and that sort of thing. But the belief was circulated that this stone was put over her grave to prevent her from rising after her death. And this caricature on the top of the grave led credence to that belief here. And I'm going to pull the umbrella away here so we'll see it all in its actual glory here. I was trying to... Now the granite slab here that we're talking about is that little piece in the back here. And they're very common in Old England. However, for some reason this old legend just kind of took off. And in fact, there's other stones that have above ground crypts even within the cemetery, but for some reason the legend caught on, and the myth of the witch, of this local witch here in York, Maine, took off. This is known as the grave of the witch, and there's nothing really that terrible written on her stone to make you think that she was a loving wife, and her husband writes that he can't wait till the time when his ashes can combine with his wife's or mix with his wife's. So a very bizarre kind of legend, local legend that grew just from a rather scandalous figurehead on top of the stone and a misrepresentation of this portion of the wolf stone right here. Now there was a part of a stone here that was the footstone of her grave, and that has broken off, and that had additional information about labeled her name and when she died, but that's since disappeared. So, this is the cemetery of the witch. In fact, the legend is so strong that it actually appears on the placard that we saw as we came in this old cemetery. They actually make mention of the legend. And this is where we're finished up here. As we step over the stone wall. Now, legend has it that the material that was used for her wolf stone was later cast as part of this low-lying wall here. No evidence that's true, but you see here the ladder stands sentinel over the witch's grave, so known because of the stone slab that covers it, supposedly to keep the witch from leaving her tomb. Actually, it is the founding resting place of a young colonial house knight named Mary Nasson, whose husband placed the stone there to keep cattle and pigs from damaging her grave. This is the picture of the cemetery as it once was, the old burying ground here in York, Maine.